Aramai, good morning. This is Judith Lay welcoming you to Manx Radio and to the podcast of this week's edition of At Your Service.
Manx Radio!
We're in the second week of the season that the Christian Church calls Advent. 4 weeks of preparation to help us think about and be encouraged by the deeper meaning of Christmas. The coming of Jesus, the Son of God, in human form into our world to share our life, understand our struggles and our sufferings, and ultimately lead us to a better, everlasting life, is often described as light driving out the darkness. And that's reflected in our first piece of music today. Christ be our light, shine in our hearts, shine through the darkness. Christ be our light. Pioneer Minister Reverend Alex Brown, an Anglican priest based in Douglas, is dedicated to bringing the light of Christ everywhere he goes, and his particular ministry is intended to reach out to people who are seeking, who reflect on the deeper questions of life but don't feel that organised church is where they belong. Wearing his favourite Christmas jumper, Alex is my guest on today's programme. Pioneer Minister Reverend Alex Brown, Pioneer Minister in the centre of Douglas, reaching out to the people who don't feel drawn to church, but who, as you discover, have a great depth of spirituality. They just don't feel that organised church is for them. Are you still loving what you're doing, Alex?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely loving it. Yes.
Well, I have heard from people who are members of your Pioneer Church that you do offer spiritual experiences in very different ways.
Oh, I think one of my favourites was we went co-steering. We went around Peel Castle and we jumped in from different heights and we swam in a cave, and kind of at the end of all of that, the guy who'd been organising that from Adventurous Experiences, he said goodbye to us and we stood in the car park together and we talked for what must have been about 20 minutes about kind of, if that had been a parable, where would we see God in all of that? You know, where was God the sea, was God the experience, was God the instructor? And we all talked about how we'd felt about that. It was so good. You didn't need any Bible background to be able to figure that out. But if you did have it, you could add it in. So everyone was able to engage really fully.
And that really is the essence of Pioneer Church. It does lead us nicely into talking about Christmas. And here we are in the season of Advent, second Sunday of Advent. Do you feel, Alex, that there's a danger that Christmas is so familiar, too familiar, that how do we get to the power, the excitement, the wonder of it, especially in a time where we are looking for the fellowship, friendship, celebration side of Christmas? How do we kind of knit all this together? What are you thinking of at the moment?
Yeah, how do we do that? It's a really, really tough call, isn't it? Because we've got COVID restrictions on one hand, we've got the world scene on the other hand, you know, and more it feels like Christmas is getting trivialized or kind of put to the side, and essentially it's a Christian holiday. So I understand that everybody wants to celebrate Christmas and everybody wants to have this time of year as a festival of light or a winter festival and a winter holiday, which is absolutely fine. But essentially, Christmas is about Jesus being born. So how do we do that in a way that engages people? How do we do that in a way which is fun and lively and deep at the same time? And churches all over the place are doing the normal traditional things, loads of which are really pioneering, you know, so like Christingles services are really different. Messy churches all over the place will be doing different things. There are pageants and festivals of light, you know, going on. Loads and loads of stuff outside of our church buildings, matched by the other side of the coin. So the other side of the coin, you've got things like midnight communion and carol services and 9 lessons and carol services. So actually people who want something which isn't quite as family oriented, there are many opportunities for them to come in to a family, to a family of believers, and be either contemplative or loud, depending on which church service they decide to go to. And we've been thinking about Christmas for many, many generations, haven't we? And I think we've got a lot of it right. There's always room for improvement. Culture is totally changing all the time. And I think as churches, if we don't move with that change of culture, we miss a trick and we end up kind of being a bridge that leads to nowhere rather than a bridge that leads to God.
One of the things that's risen up in the press in these last few days is Marks and Spencer's. A slogan has been seen amongst their publicity, Merry Pigmas. People have got quite upset about this.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, aren't they, on this one? But I think if you look round the Marks and Spencer's shop, you'll find that Marks and Spencer's haven't removed all references to Christmas. They've still got religious stuff in there, so they're still recognising that Christmas is a winter holiday and it's a Christian celebration, and they're just really big on Percy Pig. You know, he's their star, isn't he? So it hasn't offended me personally. There are other things where Christmas has been removed, and quite purposefully Christmas has been removed by other organisations or organisational heads because they maybe don't believe, and so they think nobody should believe, which is a little bonkers when you think that actually around the world there's 2 billion Christians around the world, which is a lot of people. And so to actually refuse to acknowledge one of our 2 biggest festivals would be a bit odd when you put it in the context of other faiths. So we wouldn't say to a Hindu person or a Sikh person or a Muslim person, it's great that we're having your celebration, but we're not going to mention it. Actually, what's happening on the world scene is those festivals are now being more and more prominent and more overtly what their faith would have it be. But Christianity sometimes is marginalised and sidelined. I don't think Marks and Spencers have done that with Merry Pigmas, but you can see it in other places.
Yeah, I think that the Merry Pigmas thing, it's just, as you say, that they're making a big thing about Percy Pig. It's just an isolated campaign. You can get everything from Percy Pig clothing right through to food and everything else that goes with it. It's just a slice of their Christmas marketing.
I think it would be too hard to get rid of Christmas, because Father Christmas is a fairly big part of people's Christmas tradition, whether you're a Christian or not. So if we were to say Christmas just needs to become a winter festival, we'd also have to knock Father Christmas on the head.
Now, for yourself, you're going for, let's say, 3 in a row this year, aren't you? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, we are. So 3 years ago, Oliver Cheshire contacted me. He was at a conference in the UK about what we do at Christmas. How do we bring life to shopping centres? And he texted me, what about the idea of a live nativity in the middle of Douglas? Could we do this? And I knew the right people, so I messaged the right people. And before he even left that meeting, I got back to him and said, yes, and we've got animals, and we've got costumes, and we've got actors, let's go for it. And he was so happy. So we tried to do it 3 years ago. It was totally rained off. We tried to do it again last year. We did 2 performances. One was rained off, but one wasn't. And we actually stood there in the rain with about 350 people who'd come anyway, and they had a fantastic time. So this year, we're trying again. We've gone for a much bigger community feel for this year. So this year, we've got Unity Dance School who are coming to do that. They're going to be the angels, so they're going to do this fantastic dancing for us. We've got their Cultivanin band, Scran, under the esteemed leadership of Chloe Woolley and Paul Rogers. So they're coming to be the music behind it all. I approached the Salvation Army, who've done the music for the last 2 years, or would have done the music for the last 2 years, and said, this year I'd like to do a Manx feel. Is it okay if we do that? And they said, oh, just make the event happen. They were very, very good. So the Salvation Army is still getting involved in other ways. We also have Ruth Kegan-Gelf, who's the Manx language champion from Cultivanin. She's going to come. She's going to teach a Manx lullaby, which was actually written for the Bunskull, for one of their nativities a few years ago. So it's a Manx lullaby. So Ruth's going to come and teach that to the whole people who are there, and we're all going to sing this beautiful Manx song. So that's all part of it as well. So Cultivanin are actually involved in 2 different places in 2 different ways, which I'm really excited about. And then we've got a lady called Christina, who's again working with Unity Dance School to this beautiful song called Mary Did You Know, which is a track that we're going to use. So we're going to go from the sublime of these beautiful dance around Mary to the ridiculous, where we literally are going to have a Chinese dragon-style camel that's going to go through the whole of the audience as the wise men arrive with their presents. So it should be really diverse, keeping the Christian story there.
Very much at the heart of it, but engaging people, interesting people. Now, again, you're going to go for the same location as last year, the big open area, Villiers Square. It's the Tavere Group who very kindly made that space available, isn't it? Yes. So effectively, it's just a few steps down from the 1886 bar and just quite close to the entrance and exit to Marks and Spencer. So it's that big area. And the date and the times.
It's the 16th of December and it's at 7 o'clock at night. But we have a warm-up act. So the Samaritans Choir are going to be there from 6:45 singing Christmas hits. So if you want to come, if you get there at 7, it probably will be too late, because you won't be able to see what's going on. So get there early and you'll be entertained even as you wait.
How much is it? Do we need tickets?
Oh, you do need tickets, but they're free. So if you go to christmaslive.im, we couldn't make it much of an easier website address. Go there and you can get your tickets through Eventbrite. You can book about 20 tickets at a time. But if you go on again, you can book another 20 tickets. What we don't want is people getting loads of tickets because they might want to come, and then those tickets not being available for other people, because for COVID reasons, safety reasons, we've limited to 1,500 people. We may want to reduce that to 1,000 people, just so there's a little bit more space. And we're also going to ask people to wear masks. If you come, please wear a mask.
For the first time, the first year, I think I'm right in saying that we had about 1,500 tickets claimed for that, the one that was rained off. And so that there's the level of interest, but good that you are regulating it so people feel secure. And of course, being out in the open air gives it a natural advantage.
Yeah. And very importantly, I think it's the last Thursday night, late night shopping as well. So if you come early, you can go into a cafe and get yourself a hot chocolate and see what, go into a couple of shops with the kids, but also you can stay late. So when it finishes, it's only going to be like 45 minutes or an hour. So 7 till 7:45 or 8, you can stay, have photo opportunity with the sheep that are going to be there and the costume camel and the characters. And then afterwards, you can still go home slowly, pop into another couple of shops. It's a few days before Christmas, and all of us have these lists of things that we still have to get. So that's a really good opportunity to do that too.
The present Archbishop of York, Stephen Cottrell, wrote a book a few years ago, and the title was Do Nothing, It's Christmas. The essence behind it, focus on the things that matter. Do your best to focus day by day on the things that matter, as well as the things that we have to do. Is this an attempt in some way to bring the focus back, that in amongst the late night shopping, the busyness and the fellowship that we'll share, that here's a few moments to just come and receive? I'm
a very bubbly person, and I love all of the stuff around Christmas. I love all the posters everywhere and the music and the feel. For me, it's the biggest news ever, that God comes to be born as a child and walk with us for the whole of his life, to really truly feel like God knows what it means to be human. It's a huge thing for me. So I do get very excited about it. But at the same time, there are little things we can do. So our family has a little crib with straw in the middle of our lounge on the table where we do all our stuff. And so as we sit down to have snacks in the evenings and watch maybe a Christmas movie, we have to move that and then put it back again. So at the end of each night, we're reminding ourselves, no matter what we've done, no matter what the entertainment has been, no matter what all the sparkle and the fizz has been, actually, this is essentially for us about Jesus. So there are things that we do as a family that keep us constantly reminded this is why this is all happening. And I think there are things we can do as church groups, there are things we can do as society that keep us remembering Jesus is the reason for the season.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you've delivered would soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? And when you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your boy
Peter Hollens with Mary Did You Know, just one of the pieces of music to be featured in Christmas Live, an outdoor retelling of the Christmas story in words, music, dance and drama. It's on Thursday the 16th of December at 7 o'clock in Villiers Square, just down from the entrance to Marks and Spencer here in the centre of Douglas. It's free, but you do need a ticket so that numbers can be safely controlled, and the tickets are available online. Just go to christmaslive.im to claim yours. And if you don't have internet access, perhaps you could ask a friend or family member, and I'm sure they'll be happy to help. It's very simple to get the tickets online, and as I said, it's all free. Christmas always has such a rich variety of services, carols and Christingles and concerts, and this year there seems to be more than ever. So I thought I'd allow a little extra time for our notice board, just to offer you details of what I know is happening in the coming week. And after this, I'd like to tell you about some special guests who'll be joining me on the programme in the coming weeks as we journey together towards the great feast of Christmas. Now, the one thing that all these events have in common is that everyone will be made very welcome. We start with the news that Christian Aid and Fair Trade on the island are sharing a pop-up shop to raise funds during the month of December. It's in Howard Street off Strand Street here in Douglas, in the little shop where Church's Bookshop used to be. The shop will be open on Thursdays from 4 until 8 as part of Douglas's late night shopping, and on Saturdays from 9:30 till 5 o'clock, and that's just throughout the month of December. Margaret Newton will be there with a range of fair trade foods and gifts alongside Christian Aid's Louise Whiteleg. Funds raised will go towards the Youth Agriculture Project in Burundi, an Afghan women's project, and to help those whose fragile way of life has been all but destroyed by the civil unrest in Myanmar. And just a little reminder that Church's Bookshop had a new home through the side entrance in St Thomas's Church in Finch Road, still in the heart of Douglas, with a wonderful range of Christmas cards, books and gift ideas. And Church's Bookshop in St Thomas's Church is open every day except Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, news of services. And there's an Advent Carol service this evening in Port St Mary Methodist Church. It's at 6:30. It'll be led by Reverend Dr Sean Turner, and there'll be refreshments afterwards. On Tuesday evening, Mothers Union have their All-Ireland Advent Carol service. It's on Tuesday, that's the 7th, at 7 p.m, and it's in St Thomas's Church in Finch Road here in Douglas, with refreshments afterwards. All Mothers Union members, past and present, and their friends are welcome to what is always a very special Advent service. On Wednesday the 8th, there's a quiet morning for Advent at Tide of A, House of Life, the island's newest retreat house on Tynwald Road in Peel. It's from 10 until 12:30, and it's an opportunity to pause and ponder the truths of the Advent season, to inspire, encourage and feed your soul. It'll be led by Karen Garrett with a suggested donation of £15. Refreshments will be served from 9:30. Booking is required. Just ring 609 299, or you can book via the website retreathouse.im. Also on Wednesday the 8th, in St George's Church here in Douglas, Cordalis Choir and Renaissance Recorder Ensemble will be presenting a candlelit concert of music and spoken word called Joy and Harmony. It starts at 7:30, entrance is free, and there'll be a retiring collection in aid of St George's Church. There's a festive concert by Musicale in Bagarrow Methodist Chapel also on Wednesday the 8th. That starts at 7:30, and there'll be a raffle and festive refreshments too. On Friday, December the 10th, there's time for food and fellowship at Mount Tabor Methodist Church in Port St Mary. Between 12 noon and 1:15, you can enjoy a tasty lunch of soup and a pudding, followed by tea or coffee. There's no need to book, and the cost is £7 per person. There's going to be a winter wonderland in Ballaugh next weekend. It's at number 38 Ballaterson Fields in Ballaugh, open from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the 10th, 11th and 12th of December. Call in for Christmas cheer with mulled wine and mince pies. And whilst there's no charge, donations in support of Robert Owen House would be much appreciated. And Saturday the 11th is Colby Christmas Fair. opening at 10 a.m. with all the usual stalls, including crafts, gifts and games, all in aid of church funds. On Saturday the 11th, Selby Methodist Church have another event for their local community. They'll be showing a family Christmas-themed film from 4:30 on Saturday afternoon. There'll be popcorn, coffee, tea and juice. It's free admission, but donations to church funds would be welcome. And when the film is finished, you can go out into the church gardens, which is a perfect spot to watch the Isle of Man Young Farmers tractor parade as it goes past. Also next Saturday the 11th, Andreas Parish Church welcome everyone to their Christingle. It'll be on Saturday at 4:30, and that's in Andreas Parish Church. On Sunday the 12th, the Promenade Methodist Church here in Douglas have a traditional carol service starting at 10:30. It'll be led by members of the Prom Church family. And also next Sunday, the 12th, there'll be a festival of carols and readings in St Stephen's Church in Selby. That starts at 10:30 and it'll be followed by a bring and share lunch. Staying in the north, Our Lady, Star of the Sea, the Roman Catholic Church on the Prom in Ramsey, invite you to their Advent carol service. That's Sunday the 12th at 5 o'clock. There'll be mulled wine and mince pies afterwards. And also next Sunday, the Doon Church have a service of carols and readings by candlelight. It's next Sunday the 12th at 6:30. And last but by no means least, also next Sunday the 12th, Manx Voices will be in St George's Church in Douglas, presenting Musique Chorale pour Noël, a concert of very special Christmas music. It starts at 7 o'clock and admission, including refreshments, is £7. And that's all that we've time for now, but believe it or not, there'll be even more notice board news tonight on Sundown. So do please join me at 9 o'clock when I'll be welcoming you into our virtual lounge to share a mix of easy listening music to round off your weekend. And do please email me if you've got some news for the notice board or you'd like to request a favourite hymn. My email address is judithlay@manxradio.com. And now I'd like to leave you with something to think about. If you had £2 million, not a lottery win, money that you'd earned through your successful business, would you give it all away? Well, local company directors and deeply committed Christians, David and Alison Doricott, have done just that, giving a huge proportion of their company profits away to a variety of charities. And it's something that they've been doing for almost all the years that AFD Software have been in business here in the north of the island. In the coming weeks of Advent, David will join us on the programme to explain why he and his wife Alison love to partner with organisations and see them flourish in their charitable work. And Diane Reagan and Henrietta Blythe, who each received donations from AFD Software this year, explain exactly what the money will achieve. David and Alison Doricott believe that Christian hope is not only for the times when things are looking bright and wonderful, it's for the times when the circumstances around us are really difficult, as they are for many people for different reasons all over the world. Christian hope sustains us when our human outlook might make us despair. Advent is a time when we learn deep truths. We hold on to the fact that light comes into the world in the person of Jesus Christ, who is God's hope to us, that we are not alone, we will never be abandoned, and that God will draw us into times of beauty and wonder, whatever the circumstances we face now. These are fascinating people with powerful stories to share, and I do hope you can join me again in the coming weeks. But till whenever we meet again, this is Judith saying thank you for listening, and I wish you and those you love a blessed and peaceful Advent week and a very good morning.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.